We got some big news today for AMD stock investors as the company held an AI event and introduced its next generation chips for artificial intelligence. Surprisingly, AMD stock price fell 4% on the day of these announcements. So it seems like stock market investors were a little disappointed in AMD's announcements. But could these latest developments mean it's going to take some market share away from Nvidia and its dominant market share in the AI data center? That remains to be seen, but let's look at the details of these latest product announcements from AMD and what it could mean for AMD and Nvidia stock investors.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So AMD officially launching its new Instinct MI 325X accelerators, the AMD Pensando Polara 400 NIC, and the AMD Pensando Salinda DPU. Collectively, these products are to facilitate growth in AMD's market share in the AI optimized data center. AMD Instinct accelerators are designed for exceptional performance and efficiency for demanding AI tasks, spanning foundation model training, fine-tuning, and inferencing. Of course, this is the category of artificial intelligence that's seeing the greatest investment. Enterprises like Microsoft, Amazon, and Google Cloud are spending tens of billions of dollars building out these AI optimized data centers, and to help increase the computing for those data centers, they're using these types of accelerators, primarily from Nvidia. That's why this announcement is such a big deal, is because it could facilitate growth for AMD market share in this category at the expense of Nvidia. However, Nvidia's dominant share makes it unlikely that AMD will take a significant share, but it doesn't have to take that much market share to impact Nvidia. You can see in the latest quarter, Nvidia's revenue jumped by 122%, but more impressively, its profit margins have been exceptional. 75% gross profit margin, and that was up from 70% in the same quarter last year. So not only is Nvidia's revenue increasing by over 100%, but it's also coming with very high profit margins. So it's not just flat revenue growth or empty calories, as I like to call it. Nvidia is generating very premium prices for its products. And what this launch from AMD could do is force Nvidia to be more competitive on pricing, because customers can now have perhaps a legitimate threat to Nvidia and say, look, if you don't give us better pricing, we might go to AMD. So AMD saying that these new accelerators will deliver industry-leading bandwidth and memory. And they're going to offer, supposedly, according to AMD, it's going to be 1.8 times more capacity and 1.3 times more bandwidth than NVIDIA's H200 chips. And the AMD Instinct will also offer 1.3 times greater peak theoretical FP16 and compute performance compared to NVIDIA's H200. So AMD is directly comparing itself to NVIDIA's products and saying that, look, our product could be better theoretically than what you're going to get with NVIDIA's H200. Now, this still needs to be proven out, and we still need to get validation from customers to, validate this statement from AMD. But even if this is remotely true and AMD is a reasonable option against Nvidia, the biggest impact, I think, is going to be on Nvidia's pricing power. Nvidia may have to offer better pricing to stay competitive, or Nvidia might just say, you know what, it's okay if we lose some market share, right? We have over 80% market share in this industry. It's okay if we lose some of this market share. For one, it'll at least keep the regulators off our back. We've seen regulators become more aggressive recently with companies that have these strong market performance metrics. Look at what's happening with Alphabet and what's happening with Visa. These are two companies that are dominant in their industries, and regulators are going after them for their dominance. So Nvidia might take an approach of saying, okay, let AMD, have a little fun here. Let them get some market share and we won't push back. We'll keep charging premium prices and we'll allow some of our market share to erode. And that's still okay because we're still going to have an extremely robust business. So AMD saying that these accelerators are on track for production shipments in Q4 of this year, and they're expected to have widespread system availability from a broad set of platform providers, including Dell, Eviden, Gigabyte, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Lenovo, Supermicro, which has been in the news lately, and others starting in the first quarter of 2025. So this is when we'll really start to get information about demand for these new AMD products. What are orders like? What are installations like? What are customers saying? What's the production? How much revenue, etc., etc. So this is going to be really interesting to follow. So on top of this release, AMD saying that it's going to be like Nvidia. Nvidia already said that it's going to have an annual roadmap, an annual upgrade cycle to these accelerators, and AMD is saying the same thing. Following this launch, next year, they'll have the MI350 series. And the MI350 series accelerators are on track to be available during the second half of 2025. So they've already got this product that's, getting ready for production and shipping out in the first quarter 2025. But then in the second half, they're going to have this next one, the MI350, that they're going to ready for production and start shipping out probably in the first quarter of 2026. So just like Nvidia, AMD wants to be on this annual roadmap, which let's see if they're able to manage, right? AMD has done a good job in capturing market share, in competitively taking market share in industries like the personal computer industry. AMD's done a good job taking market share away from Intel. And then in the gaming industry, AMD had done a good job in making itself a viable competitor to Nvidia, even though it was never as good as Nvidia in that product category. It was at least a threat. It was at least an option if Nvidia tried to command too high a price or take too much market share. Customers had choices. Customers had an option to go with AMD instead. And I suspect that AMD will have a similar role to play here for the AI accelerator market. I don't think it'll threaten Nvidia for leadership, but I think it'll put itself in position to be that viable option for companies that kind of get tired of Nvidia asking for so much, and also the limited supply from Nvidia, right? Nvidia just announced that the Blackwell technology is sold out for all of this year. Like customers that order it today, they probably won't get it for another 12 months. So for customers that want earlier delivery, for customers that don't want to wait in line, for customers that want this product, AMD is there now, and it's going to be interesting to see the growth of this category for AMD. Hey everyone, so many of you have been asking about my investing strategy, and I'm excited to announce that I've written a book that's available for sale now that describes my 6-step investing framework for evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.